Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and this is the Traitors Season 4, Episode 7, The Black Banquet.
The Black Banquet, yes, so what is this? This is sort of the Red Wedding episode of the Traitors, I suppose, this time around.
Yeah, I guess Alan was bragging that this is supposed to be one of the best episodes of the Traitors, in his personal opinion.
Now, I mean, we're just going to have to go ahead and say right out the gate is a little overhyped, to say the least.
I was kind of disappointed.
I thought of more thrilling ways that this could have played out, or like things that could have happened in this episode as it was happening, where I was like, oh, this must be it, what they're talking about. And then those things didn't happen. So it was like, if you just let it be of like not ramping it up to this level where I had the expectations set a little bit higher, it probably would have been pretty cool to just experience, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't like whenever anyone's vague and they say something's really amazing, because that makes me start to think, did multiple people go home? Was it a complete blindside at the round table and it's somebody that we didn't even think was, their name hadn't come up, and then all of a sudden they get voted out?
Is it going to break my bracket? That's the other concern. That becomes the immediate concern. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah. So we have a bracketology update at the end of the episode. We did drop a few spots. I hate to break it to you, Carly, but it was just 2 spots. So I think we'll be okay.
Traitors is really, really hard to do bracketology for.
Traitors is hard.
And we thought Special Forces was difficult.
Well, I mean, that was hard too, because it was like, yeah, you never know who could just be medically tapped out. They weren't coughing yesterday, and now they're coughing, and then they're going home in the same breath here. So luckily we don't have a lot of that, but
nobody's leaving for medical reasons.
No, we pick up right where we left off last week at the banquet, for the banquet, basically, as people are making their grand entrances here. And as we established, Lisa is the traitor who has been assigned the murder amulet, because they decided that the night prior in the turret. So she got stuck with this responsibility to do the murder. And then that whole day, she had a ton of suspicion that came about from her gameplay that day. So now she has to go to this banquet and try to murder in plain sight.
We have to talk about the fashion, about the outfit that she paired this amulet with.
Well, there's a lot of elevated looks here. And so some of this has to be given by production, probably, to some point.
I believe the things like, so Candace had a Medusa headpiece on. That came from production.
I mean, it had to be, right?
Anything I think that was gold came from production.
Okay.
Because it was like part of the overall aesthetic of the room that they were setting up.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know, but I think that's what they do, is they all pick their own dramatic outfits, right? But then they added things. And I would think that the purpose of adding some of that stuff is because it was overstimulating. And so you're in this room and you're already thinking that there's stuff that you shouldn't be touching. And now is somebody suspicious because of the way they look?
Some people are under the impression that there's things that they shouldn't be touching. Other people just going around willy-nilly, flipping stuff over, pulling things, touching things, looking at things, lifting things up. What's going on? These are faithfuls who you have just been told that there will be a murder in plain sight, and they're still walking around interacting with inanimate objects all around the room. What is wrong with these people?
Especially the tarot card deck.
Oh my God. Why would you ever go up to it? It's like going up to a Ouija board and being like, I'm just going to fuck around with this for a little bit, just a couple minutes.
If there was one item in that room that maybe gave off the vibe that it could come back to haunt you at some point, I would think the cards with all your faces on them would be the ones you wouldn't touch.
Okay. So that was Steven. Steven ends up being like put under the microscope for a couple different things in the room here because he noticed the tarot cards. What does he do? He convinces Johnny to flip over a tarot card, and lo and behold, it's Kristen's photo on there. Oh, it must be our faces on the tarot cards. That seems ominous.
I hope there's no negative implication for having done this.
That doesn't
Good luck,
look
Kristen.
good. That doesn't look good, but I'm nervous for you now more than ever. Sorry.
Then Lisa walks in wearing like a sailor costume made out of denim. What was it? Was it costume or couture?
Anchors away. Yeah, it's looking that way, I suppose.
If you were trying to not bring attention to yourself as being a traitor, I don't think this is the look that you should be going with.
Going full Fleet Week on the Traitors for the banquet meal here, Murder in Plain Sight. Not really flying under the radar, going low key necessarily.
No, I just felt like she stood out the most of everybody.
I would say Candace. Candace with the headdress. The Traitors were very much apparent. Well, except for Rob, but he was in overalls again, right? So I think that was pretty much all the distraction that anybody needed.
They just keep not putting full shirts on him.
They're like, actually less clothes for you, Rob, I think. That'd probably be the way to do it.
I'm telling you, like, the majority of his game is hinged on the fact that people are just distracted by staring at him.
He's a honeypot. Yeah, that's what's going on. He's a honey trap.
Okay, so everybody's wandering around the room. Some people have gotten hungry, even though that would probably be the first thing I would avoid doing in this situation is eating something.
I don't want to be the first one to eat stuff. I'll let everybody else eat things, and then I'll gauge it based on those reactions of what's going on here, perhaps.
So once again, Steven is over there carving up the meat.
Okay, yeah, he's assisting people. He's placing food onto people's plates because he's being helpful. He's a good faithful.
And Dorinda, too.
Well,
Dorinda's got the turkey covered.
Okay, yeah. Well, Tara was asking the right questions, too, because she's looking around and she's like, how long has this food been sitting out? Because we came
I
in
love
here...
a queen who's concerned about food safety.
Look, if we're going to be honest, we were at the round table for a while. We all took our time getting dressed and getting all of our headdresses and ornamentation going on here to come into this place for the banquet.
Has it been more than 2 hours?
I didn't see them bring this food in here since I've been in here. So how long has this been sitting here? Could you touch the meat? Can we temp it and just see? Is it warm still? Warm to the touch, at least? I don't know. It's hard to tell. So Tara was already squeamish about the meat. And Dorinda's like, no, take some turkey. You gotta have some turkey. And so she's insisting that Tara puts a meat on her plate.
Nobody is thinking about how the things that they're doing may be perceived from the thought process of a faithful who thinks there's a traitor trying to murder them.
The heightened, paranoia that we're about to all experience simultaneously in this room is going to supersede any sort of niceties or things that are happening out of the goodness of your heart here to make sure I get some food on my plate that might or might not give me food poisoning too, by the way. So
has someone gotten sick? I feel like someone here has gotten sick from the food.
Maybe.
And now everybody's questioning whether or not they should be eating certain things.
Maybe there's a reason why they weren't having a lot of meat for breakfast. Yeah, if it was a food safety issue, concern some cross-contamination, perhaps. Maybe.
We need more details on that. We need the cast to start talking about it.
Yeah, please let us know. Because it's not just the salmon and the hard-boiled eggs. That's what everybody's living on right now, I think.
And toast. That's it. Okay, I went back and listened to an old recap of ours from season 3, and we complimented the breakfast. So I'm rescinding that. I'm taking that back.
Well, this is a new season.
Did they cut the budget?
Yeah, the budget has been...
Did you notice they purposely put like a bunch of flowers in the front of the table so that we can't see the fact that they're feeding them no food?
Oh, that's what they're doing. It's a cover-up now.
Yeah, so, the food used to be front and center. It'd be like some beautiful fruit pieces.
It was on a cart in front of the table.
Oh, no, yeah, now they're hiding it.
Yeah,
because it's just a plate of toast, a bowl of boiled eggs, and
the hard-boiled
salmon.
Eggs. Yeah, the salmon that everybody's fighting over, and it's just like, it's just like smoked salmon. That's it. That's what you get. That's all we have to work with here. So very disappointed. Lisa's making her way around the room. She's working the crowd here, as it were. She's trying to tease who she's going to pick for murder because she's not taking Candace or Rob's opinions into consideration here because they left her hanging at the round table here pretty good. So she's just going to murder whoever she feels like.
Okay, I was impressed by the approach that she took.
Like
Because-
the process of actually getting
Yes.
someone to touch
Because it was
and
like,
interact.
how is she going to get someone to touch this pin?
Right.
I had thought maybe Dorinda or Johnny would just voluntarily walk up and compliment it and touch it.
Which is why we put them down on lower on our list for the bracketology this week. I said, who's at risk to just walk up and touch this thing?
Yeah.
Dorinda and Johnny, shiny objects.
I was worried she was going to spend a lot of time touching it, trying to draw attention to it, but instead she just acts like the pin is undone. Or I guess it is. It's somewhat undone.
I mean, she must have.
So she's like, oh, ow.
Oh,
Okay, the acting was not good.
Right.
Ouch.
Ooh.
It's stabbing me. Maisie's
getting...
alerted.
Sorry.
She's worried
It's okay.
that I'm
It's
being
okay.
stabbed by a pin.
My acting was better because Maisie believed it
more
right away. Yeah, it's more effective.
And like Maisie, Jam Jam came to the rescue.
Right. So yeah, it was like they were kind of teasing it around of like, oh, who's it going to be? Is she going to go for Colton? No, that's too obvious. Plus, I don't think Colton's going to interact with Lisa at all. And so who are we going to go for? Mara? Are we going to go for Natalie? No, it was Jam Jam who ended up touching
helping her
the pin.
close
Yeah.
the pin and securing it again.
Right.
Now, they still don't know that anything has happened.
Right, because Jam Jam has been marked for murder is what this is indicating here.
Which I'm going to give Lisa a compliment again because I feel like she's really been getting ripped apart for not being good at this. But that wasn't automatically detected as something being off or strange.
Right. Yeah, because when Alan comes in and he catches everybody up, hey, just so you know, this isn't just like a super cool banquet with some mediocre, lukewarm food that's available here. One of you has been marked for murder. That's been successfully done. And so the accusations then start flying around because basically he brings out 2 antidotes and he says, somebody here, a faithful has been marked for murder. I have 2 antidotes, so 2 people can drink from these antidotes. And if the marked for murder faithful drinks an antidote, the murder will be prevented. So this is like a last-ditch effort to cancel out, nullify the murder in plain sight here. And basically, it just turns into a wild goose chase of theories. We're just getting tons of information thrown at us.
Panic sets in.
They're freaking out.
Everyone's starting to think, what did I do? Who was acting weird? Am I the one who got marked for murder? What indicated that somebody got marked for murder? Tara's thinking about the turkey and Dorinda's trying to defend herself that I'm just a natural server.
She made it nice. Yeah. So like she's just trying to
That was nothing strange about that. That's just who I am. It's my personality.
to just completely nullify that. Yeah, because Tara was guilty. She was like, oh, I had Dorinda forced me to put meat on my plate. Normally I wouldn't. And she made me take a piece of meat. So like that makes me a little nervous, right?
So Tara's freaking out and so is Natalie.
Natalie's already super heightened because this is, again, the survivor immunity sort of syndrome that we're seeing here, where she's seeing this as an opportunity to prevent a murder. She assumes that, yes, something happened. Stephen put meat on my plate as well. So it's just like, okay, well, we're not really narrowing down anything of like what's an odd experience that has happened. The only thing that they are getting close on is that Stephen was coming clean about, yes, I did cut meat. I placed meat on people's plates. That happened multiple times, though. So, like, I don't know about that. The one weird thing, though, was that the tarot cards, Johnny, you turned over that one tarot card, and it was Kristen's face on there. So I think Kristen should get one of these antidotes. And that's not really up for debate because it seems like Tara and Natalie are really clamoring.
They're pushing for it and they're running out of time to make a decision. Johnny reaches over, grabs one of the bottles of the antidote from like right next to Alan, and then there's a scuffle or something that starts to ensue because I thought he was going to give it to Tara, his bestie.
Mm-hmm.
He does not.
No.
He gives it to Kristen because he is so panicked that if Kristen ends up being the one who's marked for murder, that people are going to think that it's because of him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be real bad. That would definitely be bad. So, I mean, I understand the play here, and I think that it is fair. Kristen's tarot card being the one that flipped over, that seems like something
Seems
that
ominous.
that seems like something that could be viable enough for a murder in plain sight in some way, shape, or form.
So that leaves just Natalie and Tara, who are still the most aggressive faithfuls trying to get the other antidote.
Time is running out, and Natalie is holding the antidote. She is basically ready to drink this thing. Tara's still kind of fighting for it. And eventually, I mean, if time runs out and nobody drinks it, then it's
doesn't count.
A waste.
That's it.
Yeah, you don't save anything. So Natalie chugs it, and she goes for it there. So now Natalie and Kristen are protected by this, but they weren't the subject of the murder anyway. So it was all
usual,
waste.
the faithfuls were not at all on the right track when
Way
it
off.
came to what was going on.
Had nothing to do with meat. Nothing to do with meat at all. So as this is not how I expected this to go. I thought it was just going to be, and you'll find out at breakfast tomorrow, of like who's murdered then, right? Like that's normally how these types of things go. No, Alan like points out to Jam Jam, he's like, "It's you, Jam Jam." And then he is forcibly removed from the table and removed from the game. So while he's
historically accurate.
True.
It is. That's what happened in that story, is that they dragged them out of the banquet.
Exactly.
So that's what happens. But I kind of felt like this blew up the Traitors game.
Okay. Well, especially because Jam Jam's whole thing, as he's being dragged out of this place, he's like, "It was Lisa."
Right.
It's Lisa.
As opposed to like him being told that he was murdered overnight and then not showing up to breakfast.
Right.
Instead, he gets to throw out as he's walking out, he's screaming what his theory is about who it is who did this to him.
He gets the last word here, so to speak. And so the blame that he gives to Lisa is that she kissed him on the cheek. It was on the cheek. There was incidental contact that was made, and there was a kiss on the cheek.
Which, we all know is not how she actually murdered him.
So this is like a reverse Colton, where he has found the right answer, but his work and the logic that drove him there was completely wrong.
Yes.
But he did land on the right answer. So for Jam Jam, that's his final play of this game.
So obviously the attention turns to Lisa, and she's just playing dumb.
What? I can't believe this. Huh? A kiss? I kissed so many people in this room. I do air kisses, though. So Lisa had to stipulate air kisses. That doesn't help the claim, because Jam Jam's saying that you kissed his cheek. So yes, you would be air kissing everyone else, and then you bumped into his cheek and you marked him for death.
That's splitting hairs. And when we start splitting hairs on this show, it pretty much guarantees that you're going to be banished.
Well, and also you're not deflecting enough
No.
from that
No.
to say I made incidental contact with, or I kissed these other people before him, because then she's sticking to, oh, it was air kisses. I only do air kisses and that's it. But that's the point, is that he's saying that you used that as cover because you gave him a real kiss on his cheek and that marked him for death.
I think this was the wrong person for her to approach for murder.
I mean, I don't know if this was just like the desperation move of who can I get to help me with this pin, with this amulet. I don't know if it was just
I'm not sure how much strategy there was
Yeah.
versus, like you're saying, an opportunity. But I think this is where Lisa really failed at being a traitor, is instead of sitting back and looking for an opening, like if she had watched Johnny and Steven with the tarot cards, obviously you should kill Kristen.
Oh, because what would have been great too, or even not if it was Kristen, because then if it was Kristen, then they get worried. Oh, here's not that she knew that there was an antidote, but like even if it was somebody involved in that, if it was Steven, because that's what I thought. Oh no, she's going to murder Steven or Johnny or Kristen. Somebody's going to get blamed for that.
She needed to be watching for some type of interaction to occur that other people would be focused on, rather than automatically thinking about her involvement, because she's already a suspicious person to them.
She's focusing on what she needs to do to accomplish the murder in plain sight, not so much about how can I fit this into something that's already happening that adds suspicion elsewhere.
Yeah. Again, that's what she's not been good at in this game, is thinking, how am I going to talk my way out of this?
It's a couple layers deep, and then you have to think a few steps ahead. Her deflections are really bad too, especially as a traitor. It's like you have to be able to get people thrown and then questioning themselves of like, you need to not just leave an answer of, oh yeah, I guess it could be me, because that was basically her defense was, I don't know.
I think she was fine at this game until she had to start defending herself.
Yes.
And now it's really gone downhill.
With the suspicion there, it's not really improving here. So we get to see the next morning at breakfast, the traitors actually enter first, which is interesting because it's like after these murder in plain sights or these harder tasks, sometimes they bring the traitors in all together as first group in. So then that way they can talk after they didn't really have a chance to, because they didn't meet in the turret last night. So now's their chance.
You know, it makes me wonder, the people who play the game, like, are they observing these things too and clocking that? And maybe do they not express it to production? Or if they do, does production hide it? Because this is just an element of making the show that they kind of can't get around.
Well, that's the thing that we pointed out in last season's recaps too, was where if you're towards the end of the game and you're one of the last people coming into breakfast, you have to know you were considered for murder. Your name was being thrown around in the turret.
Because people who have previously been on the show have confirmed that that is how they film it. They don't put it out of order for us to watch when they cut the show together. So that is indeed the order that people entered the room. So if you're paying attention, you should know the last few people who walked in were on the traitor shortlist.
So I think that's been a big gap in a lot of people's focus as far as the gameplay would go. And so just throwing that out there. We were talking about that last season too, on season 3 recaps a little bit. But basically the traitors are kind of circling the wagons here because
it's devolving into just them infighting now. They're not happy with each other.
Yeah, because it's Candace and Lisa, and well, because Rob's like, I think I'm just gonna take a little back seat today and keep it on the DL. I'm not really gonna talk too much. And then Lisa has this unrealistic expectation where she's like, no, you need to go to bat for me. You need to change people's minds and get them to stop suspecting me as a traitor. And it's like, at a certain point, that is your job.
Yeah, you've kind of like written your own banishment.
Yeah.
Like you're saying that if you can't defend yourself, you want me to defend you?
I can't do it for you. And how can you expect me to change everyone's minds in the house? That will not look good for me when you get up there and say you're a traitor.
But the thing that I think is shitty of Rob is that he has been playing a game where he's been sitting back and not really saying much until it's come time to throw a traitor under the bus.
Look, yeah.
And now he's speaking up.
I think that was the play, yeah. And I don't like it when somebody has to be the first traitor to go after another traitor.
Yeah.
I think it was going to be Lisa. Lisa was going to be the first traitor out. I mean, Donna, if you want to count her, she wasn't even really like in the game.
Yeah, like she didn't even play.
Like she doesn't really count, I don't think, towards this season. So I was going to count Lisa as being like the first of the selected, Alan's public traitors here to be banished by the group. And I think Rob was clocking that pretty early on based on how she was defending herself.
The writing is on the wall, and Rob now has to decide, how hard do I want to go for trying to save a traitor versus continuing to build the relationship that I have with the faithfuls in the house.
Yes, because I think Candace is reaching that point too where she was trying to drive home the fact that the traitors need to stick together. We've been doing so well so far. It was just all those aspects too, where it's just like, to an extent, but I can't do it at the detriment of my own protection as well, right? So like, I understand Rob's side of it.
Yeah.
And then I understand where they're trying to come from.
Also, the traitors are going to have to turn on each other at some point.
It happens.
Even if you guys do really well together and you make it a couple of more nights, it's going to get dirty where one of you guys or multiple of you are going to turn on each other. And I mean, at that point, you're risking all of you going home.
Yeah, I think Candace was just upset that I think she knew too. Like she knew that Lisa didn't have a good chance here. Yeah. But then like their next best bet is Natalie. And Natalie knows that too. She's like, I'm going to be under suspicion today because I was really adamant about the antidote and I really, shouldn't have been so forceful, I don't think, and like as aggressive in the play, but I was really freaked out, and so I had to go for it in that moment. Fight or flight.
Yeah. It really is starting to look suspicious. I feel like there have been a couple of things that Natalie has done at this point where I'm surprised there hasn't been more attention on her, especially since all the gamers have been picked off one by one, and she's the last one there.
Yeah, so everybody's turning their attention where it was like, yeah, and remember Tiffany's theory about gamers picking off gamers? Like that stays in people's minds as well as what's going on there, so it's stuff to consider.
Steven's name's also coming up, and he's really been flying under the radar until now.
Well, he hasn't been getting any screen time, and so
No.
then they're really editing him into the show now, finally. We're seeing some of his asides and some of his commentary here in between stuff, too.
So I guess it was the combination of the cards and then also...
The
I
meat.
think everybody's kind of like written off the whole serving the food, but...
Yeah, because clearly that was the wrong direction anyway. But I don't know why they're so set on, like, the kisses, too, because that was how Lisa should have deflected from that, of, like, we didn't say that it was a kiss, because Colton brings up, yeah, Jam Jam was really adamant about the kiss on the cheek thing, and then they have to defend, oh, no, air kisses. That's the distinction. I don't think that that's the route that you needed to go to defend against that. I think you should have been like, yeah, well, when we were dealing out the antidote, why weren't we doing people who got kisses? You did who got meat on a plate, because we didn't know, and we still don't know what the reason was.
Well, and at one point, too, somebody brings up, how could, I think it was towards Natalie at the round table, why would you think you were cursed if multiple people also got served food?
Right.
So that's the same argument that can be made about the kisses. If I'm air kissing everybody, how did Jam Jam's air kiss become the thing that killed him? And so the differentiator there is it was an actual kiss.
Actual kiss versus air kiss.
And she just has no way to pick that apart.
But I think I would say it was still an air kiss. He may have made a mistake or thought he had me very high on his list, so he was very suspicious of me. So yeah, that was his last reaction to, oh, what did Lisa do to me? She kissed my cheek. But like, we don't know if it was a kiss.
Lisa should have been watching what he was doing with other people or where he was hanging out in the room so that she could throw suspicion onto something else. But she didn't.
No.
So just trying to say, I didn't do that isn't going to cut it when people already think that you're a traitor.
Isn't lining up, especially when, Jam Jam, who is a faithful, definitively, he was murdered and removed from the game. The last thing that he said was, Lisa kissed me. So, like, that's what they're going off of, is that he was a faithful. You can trust what he said. Lisa kissed his cheek. And she's saying, no, I didn't. So then it's like, well, what did he have to gain from making that accusation then?
Right. Instead of saying I didn't do that, it would have been more effective to say he wasn't lying. But that's not what it was.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how what you explain it away as.
Yeah.
But trying to say he was lying about something isn't going to help you because, again, what was his motive to lie?
Why would he lie at that point?
Rather than just being mistaken.
He's mistaken. Yeah, and I don't think that she even explained it that way. So that's what I'm saying. Lisa doing a job of defending herself.
Not good.
Or redirecting or explaining to say, have we thought about, how did we land on a kiss is the thing? No, that's what he said. Okay, well, he didn't know what caused it. He was just very suspicious of me. Jam Jam was a suspicious player, just in general.
I don't get why she went after somebody who is going to play until they're dragged out the door, a gamer.
Yes.
They're going to play to the very last minute that they're in this game. You should have gone for, like, Dorinda, who's going to spend 15 minutes with her wheels spinning, trying to figure out what is even going on before she starts to think through all the interactions that she had that night.
Or Eric, who would have been just terrified and clammed up. Yeah. He would have been so scared.
We need somebody with a dysregulated nervous system.
Yes. Tara would have been a good selection there too, even though she was fighting for the antidote there. But who knew that she would speak up like that about that sort of thing?
This episode, we get a little bit of a rest from Colton being like a main focus, which was much needed.
Yes, I think that was necessary at this point.
We still do get an interaction with him and Lisa at the round table, or I'm sorry, at the breakfast table, though.
Well, at both, yeah.
At both, yeah. Well, she knows he's coming for me at the round table later
Well, she
today.
was already extra defensive at the breakfast table because Colton is bringing up Jam, what he said before he was dragged out of the banquet. And then Lisa's equating that to Colton's accusing me of being a traitor. And he has to, of course, do his gaslighting move of, I didn't say that. Why would you jump right to that? Because
Also,
I can read between the lines, Colton.
I don't have to say it because Jam said it himself, not me.
Yeah, we all heard him.
He's the one who accused you. So he's real smug.
Yeah.
Sitting across the table.
Because that was a very traumatic experience for everyone. A shared trauma now as the players in the game. Much like the viewing audience experiencing Mara's hat. Trauma.
Okay, she's had a couple of hats already in the game.
Okay, the one in the preview for the next episode, that's a better hat. That's a good hat. This hat, this episode, I think it was a lot of Scooby-Doo references that were being thrown around in the Discord when we were watching.
Yeah, it is. It was very
There was
Scooby-Doo.
a lot of Scooby-Doo in the game.
It was Scooby-Doo, but they made the hat 2 times too big for the animation.
It's like cartoony. There's an element of cartooniness to it.
I liked the color. I liked the color of the
Okay.
hat and the outfit, but I did not,
At one point,
it's a lot to look at. She's a tiny person, and it's a big hat.
It's a big hat. And then she tries to change it up because at the round table, she has the hat on backwards. So it was like, I don't think that was the alteration that we needed here.
I feel like it was in her field of vision for a lot of the day.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, it was taking her up. So she's like, I got to take a page out of Boston Rob's playbook here, and I gotta flip this thing backwards. That's what we got to do now.
She's like Dylan Efron.
It must be.
Joining the Boston Rob team. All right, so now we go to the mission. And this is an outdoor activity where you're given a bag.
Well, Carly's lost interest if it's an outdoor activity.
I would can we have an indoor challenge? Remember the one where they had to make all the duck noises or the bird noises?
The birds and the...
That's my thing,
Yeah, the dollies, the singing dollies. Too.
Yeah, I don't want to be given a bag of rocks.
No, they already did.
That I then have to throw.
Indoor-outdoor experience mission last week with the cabin. It was indoor, and then you run outside. But yeah, this one, it was, here's your knapsack with some gold rocks in it that's valued at, $100 each. So here's $500 to start with, and then go collect more gold rocks as you're trekking up the hill here.
Yeah, they're in the hills. The Highlands?
The Highlands, I guess.
The Highlands, yeah.
They got the monument that they're going to here. They're working their way towards that, but there's a couple of detours along the way because there's some spots where there's some stones stacked up, the gold rocks that you can put in your backpack. So it's getting a little heavy. The housewives need their Evians.
This did turn into the Parent Trap.
They're clacking sticks together to scare away the mountain lions.
There kind of becomes 2 different thought processes on how we're going to achieve this. Some people just try to get ahead on the trail and find all the piles of rocks. Other people are stopping at the detours and trying to throw some of their rocks at hanging pots. Because there's honestly, a trade-off.
That is, if you're good at it, if you can manage to, that's the way to go, because the one rock that you're throwing, if it hits a pot and breaks it, you get 20 rocks, 20. So yeah, that's a pretty good trade-off as far as the rocks that you're throwing, the ones that you would miss versus the ones that would hit. Yeah. There's a way bigger payout.
I mean, some people lose all 5 of their rocks and now
very
they
quickly.
Have nothing.
Well, yeah, if you're throwing like Candace, that was a very specific sort of maneuver that was taking place there. And Johnny Weir was like, I'm not built for throwing.
You know
That's
what?
not it.
Know thyself. He was like, I'm not gifted in this.
Let's get out of here.
I'm going to keep searching for rocks instead of throwing the ones that I have.
I'm a gatherer, not a hunter. Yeah, I think that's what we're doing here.
Rob spends a lot of time on his farm at the creek skipping rocks.
Skipping or just generally throwing?
Skipping, just
throwing
just skipping
rocks? Too. He skips to the creek.
And then he skips to the creek. He skips rocks and he throws them at trees.
And throws it. Okay,
guys. In the Discord, when we were watching the episode with everybody.
Team Bang Rob is out in force about their dream date being skipping rocks with Rob at his farm. That was what we found out. That's the lesson here.
Yeah, people are enamored with this talent that he has.
Oh, yeah. And then that's what we had assessed is that Carly's dream date as well, skipping rocks on a farm.
Is that mine?
Yeah, right?
Absolutely not.
Of course not. Of course not, you guys.
No.
Rob is not Carly's
Keep me
type.
indoors.
If you couldn't tell. Yeah. If you couldn't tell already.
But all that practice has paid off because he's breaking pot after pot after pot, and his bag is so heavy that he has to unload it to Colton at some point so that Colton has to carry it up the hill.
I think Colton was grabbing a couple of rocks out of there, putting it in his bag a little
When
bit.
he handed his bag to Colton, I was terrified that Colton was not going to give the bag back to him.
He was just going to run up the hill with it and then just dump everything.
I thought he was taking it for himself.
That was what was going on. That was the concern. That was a legitimate concern there because when you get up to the top of the hill, there are chests with people's names on them. You have to dump the rocks into the chests with the people's name of who you want to be in the running for. There is like a challenge within a challenge here. There's a special ability, the dagger, that is available here. So the top 6 players, based on their gold accumulation on this hike, will be in the running for the possibility of achieving that dagger prize, basically.
So there are people who really don't have much of anything. So instead of putting the rocks in their own chests, they're looking around and saying, who do I like? Who do I want to align myself with? Who do I maybe want to build some trust and favor with that I could put my rocks in their bin?
Candace had 0 rocks when she made it to the top. She threw all 5 of her rocks, didn't hit a single pot, and picked up 0 rocks along the way. So she barely made it to the hilltop here.
She just had a straight up hike. She hiked with nothing.
She is up there, nothing to give you. Single mother with nothing to give you. And what Lisa ended up with, she dumped her rocks in Steven's chest there.
Kind of adding to suspicion around Steven. Doesn't look good to have somebody who everyone is convinced is a traitor giving you their rocks to try to help you advance.
Because Colton's then whispering, why would Lisa put her rocks in Steven's chest? So he's taking note of this, even though there's plenty of rocks that are being distributed amongst different players at this point, because it's like, well, yeah, what's the point of me putting my rocks in my box when I'm not even going to qualify at this point? So
Rob dumped his bag out, and they didn't build a big enough chest.
Yeah, it was already
for
overflowing.
the amount of rocks that he has accumulated. It's pretty obvious who is going to be the first person.
Yeah, there's a few people who are like out in front here, and it's like, well, then why even bother? Lisa's reasoning was that Steven hadn't voted for her at the round table, so she was like, I like him. Yeah, that's good.
It's just petty. It's pettiness
sheer
that's driving her.
Sheer pettiness. Yeah. Which, Colton, you should understand that, right? At least to some extent.
Well, let's see how long he actually stays on this theory about Steven, because Steven's a man. So I think he'll consider it for about 3 seconds, and then he'll move on to another woman who's here.
Yeah, that's usually how this goes for the most part.
But we find out who our top 6 are who are going to advance to trying to get this dagger. And it's Rob, Eric, Colton, Mark, Steven, and Natalie.
Right. And so since Rob had the most gold, he is in the position of power, I suppose, at the start of this challenge here, where basically it's kind of like, remember that battle that they did, or like that, it was like the card game. The murder card game that they did the one time. Was this on the US version or was that the UK?
I don't remember.
Okay, there was like a murder that everybody who went to this card game, it was like 4 people who were up for murder. And then they had to do something like this, where there was like the one card that was marked for life. And then you're basically shuffling around the card between the different players at the table, and you want to finish the round with the life card.
Oh, I do remember that.
That one. So I think that was the UK version, I think. So this is kind of something vaguely similar to that, where basically the start of this, Rob is going to be the one who like watches everybody react to what they see on their tablet of if they are assigned the dagger or not. So it's either blank or it has the dagger. and he gets to decipher based on their reactions who has the dagger, and then he gets to swap for their tablet.
Yeah.
One person's tablet. He only gets one shot at this, basically.
He also gets to ask them some questions after
Right.
they look at their tablet.
Right. And so Team Bang Rob is obviously chomping at the bit because everybody wants to get daggered by Rob at some point here, I think. But that's not happening this episode, I don't think. Not yet. But we go down the list here. He reads all the reactions. He asks the questions. He reads through it. Rob's a human lie detector, though. That's what
this is
we
his
find out.
Other skill that he's getting to use today.
Turns out, yeah.
That he believes he's very good at telling if somebody's telling the truth or not. And I mean, from what we saw,
He's right.
he's good at this.
He nailed it. Yeah, he read it immediately that Natalie has this dagger and he wants to swap for her tablet. And so that's it. Yeah, done deal. He got it.
The giveaway that she had was that she wouldn't look him in the eye when she would say things.
Well, yeah, it was, he was trying to gauge, he's asking questions that he knew the answer to.
So he'd be like, what's your name?
Reading the response.
And they give their obviously truthful response.
Right.
And then he'd ask a question that they would lie in response to. And he would kind of figure out, was the difference between when they're telling the truth or they're telling a lie. And then he would kind of figure out if they have the tablet or not. He would ask, or if they have the dagger on their tablet.
Right. Because I think what he noticed with Natalie was he asked her, how are you enjoying the weather today? And she looked away and said, it's actually not that bad. She looked very uncomfortable, though. So she was lying. So I think he read that as a lie, where she was already like starting off lying too. And then when he asked her, do you have the dagger? She closed her eyes when she told him
that
no,
she didn't. Yeah.
I don't. And so that was where he was like, okay, based on those two, she didn't want to look at me when she was lying. So I think she has it.
So now we have a traitor who has successfully obtained the power of the dagger. Did you already explain how this is going to be used in the game?
I think it's on the dance floor. Okay. No, it's the power of the dagger is used at the round table where the person with the dagger can implement that power, and then their vote counts for 2 votes. So that has to be used within the next 4 round tables. So if he doesn't use it today, then he only has 3 more that he can use it for. The thing to keep in mind there is the more times that he waits. So like the longer he waits to use it, the more powerful that is going to become.
Right, because the ratio that you need to shift the vote is changing.
Yes, exactly. So it would be in his best interest to hang on to it. And now that he is a traitor who has the dagger, that really works in Rob's favor because he's not going to get murdered. And I don't think he's very high up on the list for banishment probability right now either. So that is working out in his favor where he might be able to hang on to this for a while.
How bummed do you think Natalie was to have to give up something that was like kind of an equivalent of like an immunity idol from Survivor?
Ish. Yeah, like at least
like the
today.
Closest thing she's gotten to a power that she could just hold on to and pull out at any time that she needs it.
She would have needed to use it today, I think, is the problem too. So it's just like, oh yeah, we got to be careful about that.
So the only people that witnessed that were the 6 people who were there competing for the dagger.
Everybody else got sent back to the castle before that even took place. So now we have this like subset, basically.
This group that was left behind. So they're all coming back to the castle delayed. And when they get out of the cars, Rob turns to them and tells them, hey, I got the dagger. I want you guys to know that because I trust you all. And let's make a pact to not talk about this. That way, we can potentially use this as a group.
And obviously, it would be to the detriment of the faithful to say, I have the dagger, because then you're immediately going to become a target for murder.
Right. He makes that point too. I don't want to get murdered.
Yeah.
So let's not talk about it. And it'll be helpful because this is pretty much like his alliance, this group of people.
For the most part, yeah. That seems like this is a pretty uniform, like as far as like the voting that's been going on and stuff like that too. They've all been kind of aligned when it comes to that.
So like this is crazy. His game is going so well for him.
So great.
Now he doesn't have any suspicion on him. Another traitor's about to go down, so everybody's gonna be looking the other direction. He won this extra power that's gonna eventually help him in the game. And he's building trust with a group of faithfuls by acting like he's being super transparent with them.
Honestly, he played that really well, to be honest with them, because that builds him favor with that group, that builds more trust and builds that relationship further. But also that will explain why he would not be getting murdered, because obviously Rob cannot get murdered. So if they came to find out Rob has the dagger and he's not getting murdered, that's suspicious. So like he needed to do this to say, hey, let's not talk about it, because that would be scary for me.
Yeah, and even if he didn't tell anyone about it, he knew that Natalie knows that he got the dagger from her. So that could have been something that could have come out at any time too.
She might be up for banishment. She might say something. Right. I don't know. Yeah, like she's kind of on edge right now too. You don't know what she could say. So this does help with, okay, it's winning favor within this group. It's the way that we're going to be able to navigate this and explain things in a way, but not at the detriment of the relationships that he's already built.
Inside, everybody is starting to break off into groups, which really, I kind of feel like there's just two groups at this point. It's everybody who's aligned with Rob, and then everybody who's aligned with Candace.
Yeah, like if we're going by Traitors groups, like they are in
the
their separate
faithfuls who
camps.
kind of surround them and spend the most time with them.
Right, because like Candace is around like Johnny and Tara and
Dorinda and Lisa.
Mark a little bit too. And
there are a couple of faithfuls who spend a lot of time going between the two groups, like Stephen and Mark.
Stephen and Mark. Kristen.
Eric a little bit, I think.
Kristen will kind of bounce back and forth too.
Yeah.
So like those are the set groups that we've kind of seen established. It seems pretty straightforward as far as the banishment conversation today though, because every room that you walk into, if Lisa's in the room, everybody's talking about how they're voting for Natalie. Clearly, obviously, she's the reason why we would be banishing. But then if Natalie's in the room and Lisa's not in the room, everybody's like, well, obviously it's Lisa. We're going for Lisa. So it's between Natalie or Lisa, and it just depends on who's in the room. That's who they're talking about or not.
You know who is talking about Lisa quite a bit? Rob.
Rob,
instead of sitting back and not really saying much and just maybe agreeing that he's going to go with the group, he is leading a lot of the conversations around getting rid of Lisa.
Well, because Colton had to take a back seat today.
Yeah.
Colton's trying to keep things on the DL. So Rob had to step up and follow along here. And so he's kind of leading the charge against Lisa by spinning that, bringing up the Jam theory of he didn't have a reason to lie. We have to take him at his word, that sort of stuff.
Can we talk a little bit about the Colton Rob alliance? Because I feel like Rob is putting a lot of time and effort into that. And I don't think that Colton is the kind of faithful that you want to go to the end of this game with.
Colton's not the type of faithful that the faithfuls will want to end the game with. So that's an interesting way to look at it too, right? Is because it's like, I don't think, even if it came down to just the two of them, like you can't keep voting, obviously. You have to finish the game when there's two players. That's it. But like, I don't know if...
You think so if there were like 3 or 4 people left that they would get rid of Colton over Rob?
I think they would.
Okay, so maybe that's his play.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking Colton, if you're at the end with him, is going to throw the stone into the fire or whatever they do at the end and say, I want to keep going.
Yeah.
And get rid of more people because he's not going to trust anyone to finish the game with.
Right. Yeah. Well, and like also at this point, I would say that Colton's a liability. Just to have around if you're a traitor, because at some point along the game here, he's going to turn his sights on you.
Yeah, I don't know if he's smart enough to realize that he has gotten himself into the position that he is one of the dumb faithfuls who has attached themselves to a traitor.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely overconfident. Colton is.
Yeah.
Like with his traitor hunting abilities here, definitely. This is usually what happens. And like the traitors, depending on the traitor group, they might like that because you're going after the wrong people. So you're being very loud at banishments and then you're having them vote faithfuls out. But the problem with that is sometimes they're right. So when they do hit, they land on a traitor and they do not let go of that, then that's a big problem. You can't overcome that because there's such a big voice at banishments.
Yeah. Well, someone who's actually like trying to use their voice a little bit more is Candace, because now Ron is gone.
Right.
So she's got to start voting for other people.
Yeah, this is like she has to like play the game.
She's got to play a little bit more.
Yeah, she's got to like start over again now.
She does give Lisa a heads up before they get into the round table that your name's been coming up a lot. And I'm trying to sway everyone to vote for Natalie, but know that when we get in there tonight,
You're coming up.
You're coming up.
Yeah,
You're going to have to defend yourself.
It's you and Natalie, and that's what we're walking into here. So when the round table kicks off, Lisa jumps in with her tank top and her G.I. Jane hair, and she's ready to roll.
Why did she look like she was like dressed up as J-Lo in enough? That's what it was like, giving at the table.
She's had enough. I think
she's here for a fight.
Point. She's ready to scrap it out at this round table.
Tired of that pleather jacket she had on all day.
Had to peel that thing off.
It was hot in there.
Yeah, so like she's openly accusing Natalie right out the gate here because there was a little bit of a snafu mix-up here after breakfast, before the mission, when Natalie and Tara and Lisa were in the library, and Natalie at one point said, when we murdered, she was talking about the gamers.
When we killed, when we murdered.
When we killed, when we murdered.
Gamers.
Gamers.
I mean, the game when they, I don't know what I'm saying.
Banished. When we banished.
So she did the same thing that Portia did.
She did the same thing Portia did.
Same thing they got Portia voted out on night one.
And Tara was there to hear it. And so Lisa was like, oh, this is good. So that's what she's opening with here. I think the problem is it was Lisa who brought it up. She speaks first at the round table, and she's immediately accusing Natalie, the other person who has about the same amount of suspicion on her right now as Lisa.
She should not have said anything first.
She shouldn't have. No.
There were lots of other people who were suspicious of Natalie. You should have just let them start with that.
Because if you're coming out pointing at Natalie, now you're making people who were suspicious of Natalie suspicious of you instead.
The better way to play that would have been to sit back and let everyone accuse Natalie and of other things, And then if Tara doesn't speak up and say something about what she heard, I would add that of like, I find it suspicious, Tara, that you didn't volunteer that information.
Well, you can't really accuse that because then you didn't volunteer that information either.
Well, no, you are now. Like now I'm bringing it up. But as everybody was adding information and data points about Natalie, why did you not speak up and say something about that? Also, you're awfully quiet.
I think that's where, like, I would have wanted to steer it towards, like, bringing Tara into it of saying, like, hey, do you want to talk about the thing that happened today? Because, like, something big happened.
Yeah.
And let her go with it. Because I think she was trying to do that at one point, and Tara was like, I don't even really want to talk about it. Because, like, she was uncomfortable with bringing it up, too. So then that is interesting as well.
I don't like the way that Tara is playing.
No.
So at the beginning, I felt like, okay, she's making a lot of friendships, which is good. But I think what we're seeing is her and Johnny are really playing in a pair together, where Johnny is the one who's speaking up and being more aggressive about like, hey, we got to round up votes, or I'm going to volunteer something at the round table. And Tara will sit back and not really say very much.
No, Tara's here to make friends.
Yeah.
Like, she just wants everybody to be friends. She wants to get along with everybody. That's not the point of the game, Tara. That's not what we're here for, okay? So that gets you to be a faithful who kind of bumbles your way to the end, maybe, because those are the faithfuls where it's like they reach a certain point in the game where they just go, I'm tired. I'm tired of thinking. Just tell me who to vote for. And
MJ.
yeah, there's a couple. There's a couple of examples
that
throughout.
we can think of from Traitor history.
So there are people who they get to a certain point where they just turn their brain off and they say, just tell me who to vote for. And that's who the traitors want at the end. Those are the faithfuls that you need to be friends with. So that's what Candace is really banking on at this point. She's like, I'm just waiting for Tara to flip that switch and turn her brain off.
I think she's getting to the point where she's
close.
ready to do it.
She's getting close. Yeah. See, what usually happens is they've found 2 traitors now. So what's going to happen is they're probably going to vote out a couple of faithfuls in a row here. And then Tara's going to be so distraught over that, where she doesn't even want to have to think about stuff in the roundtables anymore. So like banishment, just tell me who we're voting for, and I'll vote along too. But I don't want to be responsible for it anymore.
Especially if Johnny goes.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. It'd be something to that detriment of like she voted for Johnny and he's out and he was a faithful. Oh God. So like that'll be kind of that point where it's just like she checks out. You know.
Natalie has a checkmate response to everything that's been brought up by Lisa so far because. You're just accusing me of this to get the heat off of you, Lisa. I don't know why you even brought this up. It's kind of irrelevant. People make mistakes.
Well, and it makes more sense that you would bring up my name immediately here. The only other person whose name has been circulating today. Like, yes, of course you want to talk about me and pin that on me. That doesn't seem like it's a faithful seeking out a traitor sort of a move, though. It seems like a traitor trying to deflect to a faithful.
Mm-hmm. And then she tells her right to her face, like, you're not here to find traitors.
Yeah. Right. Like that's
my
the
brain
point.
just turned off like Tara's, man.
Look out.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, that's what I'm saying is where she's calling out, making the point of like, it's because you're deflecting.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like a faithful who wants to get a traitor out of the game move.
Lisa does a terrible job responding to all of this.
Everything is very bad. She's digging the hole. Things are just getting worse and worse. Then this is where Colton wants to talk about the Jam air kiss again.
Resurrect Jam to have him have a voice at the table tonight.
Right, yeah.
About his murder.
I remember his final words. It was just Lisa over and over again. So
I mean, it's a little damning.
Yeah,
on top of everything else that's been talked about so far.
But that's the part that destroys me, is where Lisa just needed to be like, at what point did we confirm that it was a kiss that killed Jam? Why are we stuck on that as just a topic in general? Because that wasn't even it. That wasn't it. So why don't you lean into that and say that wasn't the reasoning behind this? This doesn't make any sense.
You know who you really needed to be here for this murder in plain sight?
Michael Rappaport. Michael Rappaport would have drank both elixirs at somehow.
And the things that he would be throwing out about what he witnessed in the room.
Who kissed who?
It would be
who
so far off.
This thing, yeah, who in his mind's eye, he remembers everything. It was photographic memory that he has there of the room, but it's just like, no. Yeah, I think that would have been very interesting. I wish Ron could have been there because he would have got stuff right. He would have called things out, and he's on high alert too. So he was picking up on all sorts of stuff. I think so.
No one would have listened to him though.
He would have been all over Dorinda.
For sure.
For that turkey.
Dorinda would have been out of here for serving the turkey.
Maybe. Yeah. If Tara went, then that would be all pinned on Dorinda.
Also, apparently Dorinda said some really horrible things to Ron that did not end up being aired on TV. And
according to Ron.
I really hope Ron eventually gives us more details about that because Dorinda has really been flying under the radar on this show.
This season, yeah.
Well, she barely made it through the first episode last season.
Yeah.
But if she's a bad person, I'd like to hear more about it.
Right. So
that we could talk shit about her.
Well, between that and then also it's just like, again, the vagueness. If you're just going to say that, people will then assume Like the
Yeah,
very
everyone's going to
worst
fill in the
things.
blanks about what happened.
Yeah.
Which is, I hate when that happens on any show.
Yeah, right.
Just tell me.
Right. Just tell me what it
I'm
is.
looking at you, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
It must be. But we get to the votes here. We're going around the table.
Whoa.
Wait,
Are we going to skip
Rob?
I'm
sorry.
The most
sorry.
important part of the whole round table is
Rob's...
that Rob piles on top of Lisa and is like, well, I think we really need to talk about Jam Jam because the only person that I know I spoke to here that is a faithful is Jam Jam because we knew he wasn't a traitor after he got pulled out of the banquet. And he's saying Lisa is a traitor.
Michael Rappaport was a faithful. Like,
okay, I think he means like in the past,
like in
12 hours
at the banquet,
of the people that I've interacted
at the banquet,
with.
Maybe.
Yeah. Because obviously everybody who stood up there and said I'm a faithful, you know, is a faithful.
Right. Yeah. Well, we've already forgotten about Portia and Tiffany and all these people that we just booted out of here because of one slip up or one misspeaking moment that happened or whatever. But yeah, just forget about that. No. Jam Jam, that's the guy. And like, let's think about this logically. Remove emotion from your decision-making process here. Rob is speaking very eloquently. He's making a lot of sense. He's pointing things out. He's calling things out. He has influence at the table.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This doesn't look good for Candace. Of like, Rob is kind of taking that approach of Colton's gameplay, but in a more methodical approach where it's not as abrasive.
I think one of the problems that they're going to end up having is we've seen Candace try to sway the table unsuccessfully.
Correct.
We're going to see Rob now speak up for really the first time where he's offering something for people to react to, and it's successful.
Right. So the votes come back, and it's pretty much mostly in favor of Lisa here. It's Natalie, between Natalie and Lisa for the most part, but the curveball is Candace. She's the wild card because I was honestly surprised. I thought that Lisa would vote for Rob as her personal fuck you on the way out here. That's what I thought, right?
She controls herself. She writes Natalie's name
She wrote
down.
Natalie because I think maybe she was under the impression that it was going to be a closer vote than it actually was. I think Candace knew Lisa's goose is cooked here. So Candace took the opportunity to say, you know what? I don't think that Natalie is a traitor, and I don't really think that Lisa's a traitor either. So I just had a throwaway vote
because I don't have Ron to vote for anymore.
Yeah, I didn't know. Well, I
voted for Ron. I had Ron.
I spelled R-O.
And then I had to finish it, so I just wrote Rob.
And I went, oh shoot, yeah, Ron's gone, so I have to do Rob.
It's just muscle memory at this point.
That would have been a better excuse, honestly, at this point. Okay, there's mixed reviews, mixed feelings about this play. Me personally, I love the pettiness because I wished that Lisa would have done that because, hey, if you're going to stab me in the back, I'll give you one for the road too. Like that's kind of just the pettiness.
How
that
risky
I enjoy.
though? What if Lisa had written Rob down also,
right.
And then Candace wrote Rob down?
That would have been suspicious. So I don't know if they had aligned on something ahead of time though, or what the deal was. But like, okay, where I will defend this from a Candace play is that sometimes there are things that are, like decisions that are made or tie breaks that happen based on the number of votes that you've received at banishments in total.
Mm-hmm.
So if Rob has never had a vote against him and Candace has never had a vote against her, then that's just a tie as well. So now she's logging at least one vote against Rob at a round table here. So I like that strategic play because that could help you later on.
Yeah.
Potentially. So I do like that as a play. Also, that gives you insurance of don't let me get banished. Because if I stand up there and I say that I'm a traitor, they're going to come looking for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was her way of, you turned on Lisa, don't you dare turn on me. sort of a message there.
Yeah, I think the part that is not helping her is that she spent a lot of time defending Lisa all day. And
Right.
people kind of took notice of that.
Oh, yeah.
And then she wrote down seemingly someone random's name who people are kind of wondering if there more to that
Right.
than her just having a throwaway vote.
It's very suspicious. Yeah, because immediately, I mean, so Lisa gets up there, she's banished. She makes a very dramatic exit.
A legend, an icon, a traitor.
As you would
Lisa
expect.
Fucking Rinna.
Yeah, nothing less. So, yeah, I think
I'm going to miss her.
I think I'm going to miss her too.
I just think she got a lot of screen time. And I'm wondering how much personality some of the other people left in the house have.
Okay.
And I do not want them to fill that leftover time with Colton.
Hey, I don't want Colton getting more airtime. I think they're trying to backfill with Steven now. They're like, hey, you get on board with Steven maybe? Show me more Johnny. I think I need more Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny's
stuff.
been good.
I need more Johnny commentary because we're getting more like Johnny gameplay. That I'm not impressed with, okay? Because Johnny came in here, he was so adamant about Natalie this whole time. He votes for Lisa. And then I think same for Steven, where he was all dead set on Natalie, and then he came in and voted for Lisa. It's not a voting block if when you guys get in there, you flip to somebody else.
Yeah, you can't keep saying we need 7 votes to get somebody out. And then of that group that says they're going to vote a certain direction, everybody goes in there and just votes for someone else.
Yeah, you make a decision on the fly. Okay, well, that doesn't help. That does not help at all. So if you're whipping for votes, that's not working like that. Okay. But Candace already has to immediately answer for, I think Kristen came up to her and was like, Rob, dude, like, what the hell was that?
About?
And she's like, I don't know. I just didn't feel set either way, you know? So she's still trying to dismiss it as like, I didn't want to vote for Natalie or Lisa. And that's the defense that she's sticking with here. I think it is highly suspicious. I think it's not a good play, like overall, because it is going to draw attention. I think at this point, we had the theory that Candace just wants to sink Rob now.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't really care. Like, she likes the faithfuls that she's playing with. So even if she gets found out, they go on to win. That's fine. She just doesn't want Rob to win.
To advance.
Right. Like, is what it's seeming like now at this point a little bit. Maybe. We don't know, though.
I have mixed feelings about Rob because on one hand, he's just playing the game and he actually is playing the game well as a traitor.
Really, really, really well.
But I was enjoying watching these traitors play together. So now that they're turning on each other, that's not as fun for me.
It's a bummer. Yeah. I mean, this is about that stage when, you know, another traitor goes and then it's just like, okay, well, we're getting to that point where it's going to be kind of clique versus clique of whoever the 2 traitors who are most established within the faithfuls are left. And then they're going to start going head to head in the roundtables for removing people from those groups. And how does that play out? So it is tough. But I think, man, I don't want Colton in this game anymore. And because we have to immediately hear him pat himself on the back.
His day of sitting back and letting everybody else take the forefront, I think, is over.
Yeah, he's going to be back in force and it's going to be worse than ever.
Yeah.
Because he's immediately taking credit for, oh, I was so scared of the housewives when I came into this game and I just took one down. So he's taking full responsibility for this. But I think that's kind of Rob, like, playing into that of he's fanning the flames of Colton's ego here to kind of keep him
he's letting
preoccupied.
him take the credit for it.
Yeah, he wants him to.
You think it was you.
Yes.
Even though it came down to people listening to me.
Right. Yes.
So, yeah, that was annoying to hear him immediately walk in there and celebrate his success, even though it really had nothing to do with him.
So this is also another repeat of when Colton is right. So he was right about Lisa. Sure. First of all, when you have accusations and suspicions about fucking every single person, yes, you're bound to be right. Okay?
At some point.
At some point, you're bound to be right. So, yeah, he was right about Donna. Yeah, he was right about Lisa. he was still wrong about 3 other people in between. And then now, what's his next move? He pulls Johnny aside. I have real suspicions about Steven. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's another faithful on the list here for Colton to go after.
So he is still hooked on Steven for now.
He is, for now. At the end of today, I guess. Yeah, we're going to see that. But
so he's trying to... I don't know if he's trying to align with Johnny or he's just trying to build some trust with Johnny, but...
Johnny's not having it.
No.
Johnny's like,
No.
okay, yeah, sure.
Well, also, what a weird conversation of like, I think the only level that we could probably relate to on is to talk about our sports. So let me compare my sport to your sport, Johnny.
I don't know how he drew that line because then he only talked about figure skating. So I don't know how he was...
The only thing
originally
I
talking?
was hooked on was him talking about how aggressive his game was, and then Johnny saying, "You're playing like a bear. You're like a bear."
You're like a power bottom is how you're playing right now.
No, what it was making me think of is, have you heard the thing about like,
choose the bear or the
yes,
man? Yeah,
yeah. I was
Of course.
like, no, he's the man.
He's the man.
We would choose the
we
bear.
would choose a bear. Yeah, I would prefer a bear instead of Colton over this. Yeah, at this point,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm waiting for that to become a meme. So then some people are starting to talk about the Candace stuff because, the whole thing was weird. She defended Lisa a lot.
It was Colton again. So you immediately have 2 accusations. So I don't know.
He'll probably lean further into the woman.
That's what I was going to say that he spoke with Johnny about his concerns about Steven, but then the next scene, we see him throwing out accusations in the kitchen with multiple people about, oh, Candace seemed to really redirect off Lisa all day, pretty much. And that's when Rob's like, yeah, what if the turret is full of housewives? So he's already getting that theory to start to spread around.
It was all
here.
the housewives and Donna Kelsey.
What a combo. Yeah, nobody sees that coming.
It only took you until tonight to get the first one out. I'm sure that's what's going on.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was shitty too, because now he's coming for Candace, but
he
Candace
knows
voted for him at the round table.
She wrote his name down, so I mean, like, it's
fair game now. This is it. The traitors have turned on each other, and it's every man for himself.
That's the point that we're at. That's the point in the game. It gets to that point. It eventually happens. Candace is kind of trying to find her alliances though too, because then she's talking with Johnny. And then they're kind of talking about, because Johnny's like, look, I got bad vibes from Colton. And then Candace is kind of leaning or like trying to lead Johnny in the direction of like, might be Rob too. Because like,
they're real friendly. Have you noticed that?
Rob was real influential. Well, Johnny even noticed, he was like, Rob was saying things that Colton said verbatim. Like they were saying the same things.
They're just parroting each other.
Yeah. So, like, that was something that Johnny was kind of thrown for a loop on as well. So that's what Candace is like, yeah, maybe we should keep an eye out for that and sort of let's not trust either of them. If we're not going to trust Colton, then we probably shouldn't trust Rob either.
We went from like 2 days ago in this house to nobody suspecting any of the traitors to all 3 of their names getting thrown out by people.
Right. Well, it's mostly them throwing each other's names around at this
true.
point. So I think that's the bigger problem here. But Candace is ready. She's ready to go toe to toe with the snake in the turret here.
And that's our cliffhanger.
That's the cliffhanger.
We don't know what's happening. We don't know if they get to murder.
Well, and okay, so if you're not familiar with this too, like when a known traitor, well, like a selected traitor, an Alan pick traitor, the secret traitor was weird with Donna this season because when she got banished, they were just like, oh, all right, continue on as normal. Normally, when a traitor
just pretend she didn't exist,
she basically didn't exist. So when a traitor gets banished, the traitors then are met with the choice to either murder that night or they can attempt to recruit a faithful to join them as a traitor. So that would be interesting if in the turret, now they have to decide between Candace and Rob, are we going to murder or are we going to recruit?
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to give them a recruitment or not, but if they have to murder someone, I don't know that they're going to be able to agree on what to do.
I don't know if they're going to be able to agree. Yeah, and what I was suspecting too is probably, like, based on the preview, it doesn't look like Candace and Rob are getting along. I think what happens is Candace is probably asking Rob who got the dagger, and then he's not going to tell her. And I think that's going to be like
really the
big trust break for them. I don't think they're going to recruit, because if they can't agree on a murder, I don't think they'd be able to agree on a recruitment either.
Well, or do they just have a stalemate? They have to decide something.
I don't know. Well, I think that they would have to, I think they would be able to agree on a murder, because then the other thing would be if Rob lies about who had the dagger, if he says, oh, yeah, Colton got the dagger, so you should probably murder him. And then Candace murders Colton, and then Rob gets to throw Candace's name out there as, oh, see, Colton was on to her, and now we got to go after her.
There's a lot of ways things can go now, because it really all hinges on their relationship moving forward. If they're able to walk back any of the heat that's gotten on them this episode.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I think they can very quickly fall apart from here, but I thought Candace was playing a pretty okay game as far as like establishing relationships with the faithfuls, but I think we're seeing that Rob has way outplayed her.
It shook her to the core here now, and she's getting reactive, I think, is the difference too. It's not as calculated.
Mm-hmm.
We're not thinking several steps ahead. We're just kind of responding to, Rob has wronged me, and now I'm going to do this in response. So it seems like we're getting a little short-sighted, and that might come back to bite us here. But what do we got? We got the Bracketology update here. Well, let's take a look and see.
So we had Lisa and Jam Jam go this week.
Lisa and Jam Jam. So I think Jam Jam was worth a couple of points for us. So we dropped from 3rd place to 5th place, but we're not going to focus on that. We have a 3-way. Oh, wait, no, it's a tie. It's a tie for first.
Wow.
So 847 Ice and Bana are both tied at 446 points apiece. But look at that. We're in 5th place. We're only 2 points behind them. So this is a tight race.
Focused? We don't count, guys.
I know.
I don't know. Corey is very focused on where we are in the leaderboard, but wherever we end up, we don't count. So if you're in 6th, you're actually in 5th, because we don't count.
Technically.
Towards winning any prizes or anything.
But okay, so yeah, that's the tie for first place. We also have a tie for 3rd place right now. So it's Mia Girl and Crystal Hulks for keeps. And then down in 6th place, we got Desert Dog 155. Suzaku and Bookworm 0824 are tied in 7th place. And then we have another tie for 9th place. CVD Poel 89 and Tootsie Jean.
It's Suzaku. She sent us a message.
Oh, Suzaku. Okay, Suzaku.
I had to since she told us how to say it.
Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to offend or anything. But yeah, I think that's the top 10 now, because we have a couple of ties in there. So it's a tie for 9th is like 9th and 10th place now. But if you're enjoying the recaps, guys, if you like what you're hearing here, if you like the theories, you're having fun,
please leave us a written review.
It helps the most if it's a written review. So it needs the words. The words have to get in there, not just the stars.
And like nice words.
Yeah, good words, positive words about Corey and Carly and surviving reality and how great everything is. So share us with your friends. Share us in your groups where you're talking Traitor game and in your, group texts or whatever you're in. I don't know. What else is going on? What are people doing? If you're not in the Discord watch party, then that's a real bummer. But yeah, that's around the Patreon. So patreon.com/survivingpod. You can check us out over there too. We got tons of bonus content as well.
Also, you guys know things are going on in TikTok. For some reason, the views, they've really decreased. So that tells me you guys aren't7seeing the things that we're posting.
It's a real shame.
I don't like that.
Good stuff. Yeah, when the Reels numbers are up, I think that was what we were realizing as well. Because we're on Instagram now too, so make sure you go follow us on Instagram if you haven't already.
At Surviving Reality Pod.
Right, correct. That's a good thing to note.
Yeah, so follow us on Instagram. That way you can actually see the things we're posting.
That's good.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.